Right now, somebody is paying a landscaper extra money to slowly kill their own tree. They have no idea they're doing it. It's just one of 10 small garden mistakes that make a yard look cheap, and you're probably guilty of more than one. Let's go through all 10. Number 10. Piling mulch up the tree trunk. You've seen this 100 times. A tree with a giant pile of mulch packed 3 feet up the trunk, like somebody dumped a wheelbarrow on it and walked off. People pay extra for this. They think it looks fancy. It's actually killing the tree. The University of Illinois Extension calls these mulch volcanoes, and arborists hate them. The reason is simple. Tree bark is meant to stay dry. Bury it under wet mulch and the bark rots. Secondary roots start growing up into the pile and strangle the trunk over time. Pests start showing up too. The tree slowly dies, and most homeowners don't notice until it's far too late to save anything. The Maryland Grows Extension Service says 1 to 3 inches of mulch is all you need. Russell tree experts say you should always be able to see the root flare, which is the spot where the trunk widens out into the roots. If you can't see it, you've buried it. The fix takes 10 minutes. Pull the mulch back 12 to 18 inches from the trunk. Make a flat ring shape, not a cone. Your tree lives, and your yard stops looking like the work of a guy who learned landscaping on TikTok at 2 in the morning. Mistake number 2 is sitting on every street in your neighborhood, and you've probably driven past it today without noticing. Number 9. Flower beds that are way too skinny. Drive through any new subdivision, and you'll spot it instantly. A flower bed 2 feet deep, 3 small shrubs squeezed against the brick, a thin strip of mulch, the lawn pressing right up to the wall. The Georgia landscaper at Positive Bloom said this is one of the fastest tells of a cheap-looking yard. He spots them from a block away. The reason it looks bad is simple. Skinny beds make the house look like it's just sitting on top of grass. There's no transition between the lawn and the building. There's nothing framing the house. There's no actual design happening. Landscape designers say foundation beds should stick out 4 to 6 feet from the house, with plants stepping down in height as they get closer to the lawn. Tall stuff goes against the wall. Medium plants sit in the middle. Short plants and ground cover fill the front edge. That's basically the whole rule, and it works on every house style from a brick colonial to a modern farmhouse. Skinny beds aren't saving you lawn space. They're just making your house look bare. Deep beds frame the home, hide the foundation line, and make the property look like somebody actually planned it instead of nailing it together on a Saturday afternoon. Mistake number 3 happens every single weekend in your neighborhood, and the people doing it think they're helping their lawn. Number 8. Cutting your grass way too short. You think you're being efficient. You drop the mower to the lowest setting, buzz the whole yard down to the dirt, and figure you bought yourself 2 weeks before the next mow. What you actually did has a name. It's called scalping, and Lawn Doctor says it's one of the fastest ways to kill a healthy lawn. The reason is photosynthesis. Grass blades use sunlight to feed themselves. Cut them too short, and the plant can't make food anymore. The roots get shallow within days. Weeds move in fast because the soil is suddenly exposed to sunlight. The whole lawn bakes dry within a week. Sod Solutions and Lawn Doctor both recommend keeping warm season grasses like Bermuda and Zoysia at 1 to 2.5 inches and cool season grasses like fescue at 2.5 inches or higher. They follow what's called the 1/3 rule, which means you should never cut off more than 1/3 of the blade in a single mow. There's another piece a lot of homeowners completely miss too. Lawn Doctor says mowing with a dull blade is one of the worst things you can do. Dull blades tear the grass instead of cutting it cleanly, leaving the tips brown and ragged within a day or two of mowing. So raise your mower deck, sharpen your blade twice a season, and stop chasing the golf course look. Tall grass shades the soil, chokes out weeds, and stays green, even when your neighbor's yards turn brown in July. Mistake number 4 is the one designer spot from across the street, and once you know what to look for, you'll see it everywhere. Number 7. Planting things in 2s instead of 3s. You walked into a garden center, grabbed 2 matching shrubs because they looked balanced, planted one on each side of the front bed, and now your yard looks weirdly stiff, and you can't figure out why. Designers have a name for this. It's called the Rule of 3. Plants in odd-numbered groups, like 3, 5, or 7, look natural to the human eye. Plants in pairs or singles look forced. Horticulture magazine has been writing about this for decades, and Gardening Know-How calls it one of the foundational rules every professional landscaper follows. The reason is how your brain processes images. 2 plants split evenly down the middle, so your eye treats it like a math problem. 3 plants form a triangle, which feels balanced without feeling perfect. A single plant in a bed just looks lonely and out of place. So when you go shopping, buy in groups of 3 or 5 of the same variety. Plant them in loose triangles, not straight lines. Same plant, same variety, grouped together. The exception is when you're framing something formal, like a front door, where 2 matching planters actually make sense. For everything else, odd numbers win every time, and the bigger the bed, the bigger the grouping should be. Mistake number 5 is the one that makes even an expensive landscape look amateur. Number 6. No real edge between lawn and beds. Mulch dumped straight onto grass is one of the fastest ways to make a yard look unfinished. The line between the bed and the lawn turns fuzzy within weeks. Grass starts growing into the mulch. Weeds slowly take over. The whole thing reads as messy, even if you spent good money on the plants inside. Designers at Yardson, a national landscape firm, told Redfin that adding steel edging along garden borders creates sharp, lasting definition that signals care and intentionality to visitors. Yard Remix lists fresh mulch and bed edging together as one of the highest ROI curb appeal upgrades you can do for under $100. So pick a real edging material and commit to it. Use steel edging for a clean, modern look. Use brick or stone for a more traditional feel. Or just cut a deep V-shaped trench with a half-moon edger if you want a free DIY version. The point is, the eye needs a clean line between the lawn and the bed. There's one warning here though. Don't use those wavy plastic strips from the hardware store. They turn brittle, pop out of the ground after a couple of winters, and end up making the yard look worse than no edging at all. Mistake number 6 is one nobody warns you about when you grab a 4-pack on sale, and it ruins the whole look the second the sun goes down. Number 5. Lining up way too many solar lights. Solar path lights are cheap, easy, and a complete disaster when people overdo them. Walk through any neighborhood after dark and you'll see it. A driveway lined with 20 solar lights spaced exactly 2 feet apart, glowing dim and blue like a budget airport runway. Landscape designers at Moodscapes called this exact mistake out by name. They say homeowners turn their walkways into landing strips instead of using lights to highlight features. The Yardson team also told Redfin that swapping cold blue-white solar lights for warm modern fixtures instantly makes a home look more upscale at night, so use way less of them. A couple of well-placed uplights to highlight a tree or an architectural feature on the house. Path lights spaced unevenly, so they create pools of light and shadow instead of a row of dots. Warm-toned bulbs around 2,700 Kelvin instead of the harsh cold ones from the dollar store. If your existing solar lights are faded, half-broken, or leaning sideways from last winter, just pull them all out. An unlit yard looks better than a yard full of dying lights. Mistake number 7 is the biggest "I have no design plan" giveaway in suburbia, and you can probably picture 3 houses doing it right now. Number 4. Way too many lawn ornaments. A few decorative items placed with intention can add real personality to a yard. But HGTV's landscape design team called out the people who fill their yards with gnomes, plastic deer, weather-faded angel statues, decorative wagon wheels, mismatched stone bunnies, and lawn ornaments stacked across every square foot of grass. The Georgia landscaper from Positive Bloom said the same thing. He sees this in neighborhoods at every price point, from starter homes to million-dollar properties. The problem is that too many decorations create visual competition. Nothing actually stands out. Everything blends into clutter. The fix is brutal, but it works. Pick 1 or 2 pieces you actually love. Place them as focal points where the eye naturally lands, like the corner of a flower bed or beside a front step. Donate or store the rest. One whimsical ornament next to a flower bed reads as charming and personal. 12 gnomes, 3 plastic flamingos, a wishing well, and a wind chime collection reads as a yard sale, no matter how much you spent on the rest of the yard. Mistake number 8 is the saddest one on the list because it tells every visitor that you stopped trying. Number 3. Leaving dead plants in the yard. Nothing screams neglect louder than dead plants left exactly where they died. Brown, withered shrubs holding on to a few yellow leaves, dried up annuals from last summer still in their pots, empty containers full of dead stems from a hanging basket somebody forgot about back in October. Positive Bloom, which writes a lot about curb appeal, says this single mistake can make even an expensive, well-designed landscape look completely abandoned. The psychology is simple. A few dead plants in prominent spots tell anyone walking past that nobody who lives here actually cares about the place. So once a week, walk your yard. Pull out anything dead, dying, or just looking sad. Replace the gaps with fresh annuals, simple ground cover, or just clean fresh mulch until you can plant something new. If you keep killing the same plant in the same spot, the spot is trying to tell you something. The sun might be wrong. The drainage might be bad. The soil might be dead. Don't keep replanting the same victim and hoping for a different result. Mistake number 9 is the one that turns an entire front yard into something resembling an abandoned strip mall. Number 2. Covering the whole yard in gravel. Gravel can look elegant when it's used as a path, an accent around a fountain, or a frame for a planting bed. But when it's dumped across an entire front yard as a low-maintenance replacement for plants and grass, it does the opposite of what people expect. Instead of looking modern and minimalist, it ends up looking like a commercial parking lot. The Positive Bloom landscape team explained why. Gravel-heavy areas reflect heat back at the house. They gather leaves and debris that you can't easily clean up. Weeds still find a way to colonize them through the cracks. They lack the warmth and texture that real plants provide. Good Nature Organic Lawn Care also warned against using rocks as mulch around trees because they heat up dangerously in summer, damage lawnmowers when they roll into the grass, and don't add nutrients to the soil the way wood-based mulch does. There's another quiet problem too. Once leaves and seeds blow into a giant gravel bed, you can't easily rake them out without taking the gravel with them. The whole thing slowly turns into a debris field that gets uglier every season. So use gravel sparingly. A pea gravel path between 2 planting beds reads as polished. A drainage strip alongside the house reads as practical. An entire front yard covered in white river rock just signals that you gave up on having a garden, and any buyer who shows up is going to mentally subtract the cost of removing it all from their offer. Mistake number 10 is the most embarrassing one of all because it fools nobody, even from the sidewalk. Number 1. Putting fake plastic flowers outside. Plastic flowers stuck into garden beds, fake silk geraniums in window boxes, artificial blooms in front porch planters that don't fade no matter what season it is. You can spot them from across the street. Real estate writers at Positive Bloom point out that the second somebody notices unnaturally vibrant flowers blooming in mid-January, they immediately know something's off. Plastic flowers collect dust. They fade unevenly under the summer sun. They look obviously fake, even from the sidewalk. The convenience just isn't worth the cheap impression they create. If you can't commit to real flowers, don't fill the bed with fakes. Use foliage plants instead. Hostas, ferns, ornamental grasses, evergreen shrubs. They look full and alive all year without needing constant blooms. If you want actual flowers and you're worried about maintenance, drought-tolerant perennials are the answer. Lavender, salvia, coneflower, black-eyed Susan. They come back stronger every year for free. Real plants always beat plastic, even the cheap simple ones. According to Berkshire Hathaway agents quoted in Family Handyman, smart landscaping can lift a home's value by up to 30%. And Windermere reports that curb appeal alone adds an average of 7% on top of that. None of this is expensive. None of it takes long. Cheap-looking yards aren't broke, they're just full of habits nobody told the homeowner to break. Fix 3 this Saturday. Hit subscribe if this helped you out. The channel covers practical fixes that quietly add real value to your home.